If you remarry without going through the appropriate legal procedure, you can be charged for bigamy under the law. You can't just suddenly walk up to the court and say, see, I'm tired. There are grounds for divorce. It's always better to see a professional counselor. That is it. Not call your pastor.
Not a pastor.
I am sorry. I am sorry because I've seen pastors even create more problems in the church. A lady was telling me she was in counseling and the pastor was telling her that my wife kneels down every morning to greet me, and her fiance asked her, can you kneel down every morning? And I was like, this one is creating an unnecessary issue.
You love God, but you don't love your neighbor. How can you know God when God is love? We pretend, we hide under the fact that we are doing something with God. We are having a relationship with God. When the first relationship, the definition of our relationship with God is actually the relationship we have with people. What is the evidence that you submit to God? If God says submit to your spouse, your husband, and you cannot submit to your husband,
I've also learned over time that I think the most turbulent period in a marriage is the first 5 years.
Yes, actually.
The first 5 years. So that might be the reason why most of those marriages are under 5 years. Yes.
But like this generation, they don't have chill again anymore. Any small thing, divorce, any small thing.
And this thing is in two parts. One thing I will say is that what parents, or let me say what the generation past could endure, this generation will be like, no, you don't try that with me. And I can't blame them totally. If a person is going through domestic violence, for instance, we've heard of things in the past, partners will just be like, foriti. The way they will say, like they'll use their head to actually push it. Let me put it literally. No, I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you see, now there's more knowledge, and people know that no. Why should someone who is not like why should that happen? And so when they've the first time he did it or she did it, they'll be like, let's just hold on. Second time, third time, fourth time. No. This is just the end of it. And I really can't blame them, because people will say, oh, separation is better than divorce. I don't understand. There are people that separate and never come together again. There are people that separate and never, they don't come together again, because they just know that it is not possible. The only thing with those people is that, okay, probably they just feel like, I'm not really concerned about remarrying. And so, whatever the case.
So this is now my question. Is there a way that legally they can screen people before they get married? Those people that's going to do court wedding. I'm serious. I'm serious.
You are very funny. You are very funny. When the butterflies are in your belly and you can't see anything.
Exactly.
The butterflies are in your belly and you can't see anything.
He said and spray the butterfly, they will die.
You remember the episode where we talked about choosing the right partner.
Yeah.
If you have not seen that episode, viewers at home, you really need to see that episode.
Yeah.
You have to be ready, biologically ready, financially ready, and emotionally ready.
A lot of people are not that ready. They just
that is the issue.
The thing is, I realize that lots of people think they are ready. For example, the idea of being ready for marriage is you have hit a certain age, a certain level of maturity, you have a job, you have a means of livelihood and a place of abode. Then it's as good as you're married. You're ready to get married. I remember when I was 30, 33, people were asking me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But the truth is, if I had gotten married then, I'm very sure that marriage would have been messed up. Because the requisite wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to keep a home wasn't there, even though I was 30, 33. There are certain things that people need to know, learn. And the funny thing is, even after learning these things, when you get married, you're still going to get the shock.
Yes.
So how much more when you were not even prepared in the first place?
So my
you still get the shocker.
Simple.
Before your thoughts, sir, I think when it comes to learning generally in life,
Yes, sir.
You can learn before the job and you can learn
On the job.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Come to think of, when it comes to marriage, there is no curriculum for marriage.
No.
There is nobody that will sit you down.
Give you the
Even the
manual.
guy who
Yes.
will sit you down to give you a kind of manual,
Yes.
you have to pray for him so that he's not married.
He's not who sustain.
Somewhere down the line. You will not say, but you were the one advising me that I should do this or that. So marriage is an institution that you go into. You think you are prepared, but you are not even, you are far from being prepared. So what do you need? One of the things that you need in the course of preparation is patience.
Exactly.
Patience is very important. And you see, like you said, someone cannot persevere and all of that. All our parents that used to persevere during their time and all of that, they have a heavy dose of that perseverance. That is exactly what is lacking today. Boys are more educated these days. Girls are more educated these days. We have the tendency, even though we have fewer jobs, but the standard of living has changed. Our children are growing bigger and taller and everything. So we are not, we have those things that they don't have, but we lack what they had. What they have is patience. You need patience to learn on the job. You need patience to learn in marriage. I don't want to hijack it from the learned professional.
Yes.
But you see, I'll give you an example. The people, I have my immediate family. I'm a firstborn. I came from a very large family. I came from a polygamous home. I have plenty mothers. They are now all my wives because I'm the oldest boy. And you can say that again. And I have lots of siblings. And despite that, the closest people to me are my in-laws. I love them. I genuinely love them. They are my real brothers and sisters. But I want to tell you that it has not always been like that. For example, my mother-in-law she's so caring that I think she's overbearing. I think she wants, initially I was just like, what's wrong with this woman? At every time, she's always coming with one intervention. And I won't say anything, but I will just, do like this and I'm thinking in my head.
Are you trying to run my home or something?
And there are times when, if it is just us, I will give it to her. Thank God she's a very patient mama. There are times when my wife will just say, what will I do today? There was one day, she gave me her phone. When I heard it, she said, please apologize to mommy. Apologize to mommy. I said, no, I'm not apologizing to mommy. It's me and mommy today, But do you know that mommy has done so much for me today? It only requires, today now, I know how to handle her. She gives it to me. I give it to her. I will end everything. And she's even calmer because she's like 15 years, 14 years older now than then. So she's calmer, But do you know that intervention could have led, all our interventions could have ended our marriage. I could have said I cannot take it anymore. My own mom does not come to run my house. My mom does not give a lot of intervention to my wife. That's why the fact that we're even looking to God for the fruit of the womb, and all of that. And why is my mother-in-law now making so much intervention? Can't she just look the other way? And I said, please,
let you manage what you can.
Exactly.
Manage, yeah?
But it took time before I now realized that she was actually caring. She was not trying to do anything for her daughter. She was trying to do something for us. She may not be, many times she's not necessarily right, but it's coming from a place of love. And that love can be rechanneled. It only requires patience. And there were now times in my life when I needed someone to be there.
Intervention.
I needed the intervention and I needed more.
Emperor, so I feel patience worked for you. It might not really work for other people.
Patience
like that.
works all the time.
No, not all the time. Do you want to tell me that somebody they are beating every day, she should still
That's not patience.
Let me talk about what you're talking about now in terms of domestic violence. That thing goes two ways. There are some people that, okay, just put a clip on your lips. Sometimes they can't. You are saying your own as in I'm giving it to you back. And that one will end in fisticuffs. But there are actually some people, whether they talk or they don't talk, it will still end in fisticuffs. So what do we say to this? I think it's just, how will I put it? There is no straight no straight jackets formula to this thing. It's just, how will I put it? We should consider each case according to its merit. You get? We should consider every case according to its merit. You know, okay, let me just cite an example. I was in a relationship at a time, and this guy did something that really, really, really pissed me. Like, I was like, why will you do this? Okay, went on service, and he came back that day, and I observed that he kept on calling one lady. Okpe lady, ti. Like, he called that lady all through that day. By the following morning, when we were going to see again, the first person he was going to call was, hello, I was like, excuse me, like, we've not seen in like 3 months. We are seeing, as in, you've not even really given me the attention that I feel you should give me. And you are busy calling a lady. I was just going to walk away, and I saw someone just pick my hands and wrap them to the back. Like, I was like, Ogbeni was so police station. As in, I will not joke with that one. If you touch me, you sleep in the police station. That is just it. You sleep in the, as in, I don't joke with that one. Don't touch my body at all. You are not my father and you are not my mother. So you don't do that.
Yeah. So but I want to ask you.
Okay.
So most of the causes of divorce from your experience, is it due to domestic violence?
I think we have a high case. We have a high this thing with domestic violence currently.
Yeah, so I know that we have always had this issue of domestic violence, but I'm just telling you that. I think
it's just, how would I put it, more attention or more spotlight has just been drawn to it now.
My point is that most of the...
There are frivolous reasons, like you press the toothpaste from the middle instead of pressing it from the bottom.
There are some that are not even frivolous, For example, I read in the front page of a newspaper of someone saying, my mother-in-law was trying to run my home. Just like my example.
I've not concluded on the subgrounds for irretrievably broken down marriage. I think another one is where the marriage has not been consummated.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now we had a case where one was complaining it was too much. We have a case where somebody saying it's not even enough, and now we have a case where somebody is saying nothing has happened.
Where someone has lied. You know that this thing is not possible, and he keeps on leading the lady. Oh, don't worry, when we get married, and the lady will be like, she will smell something fishy during the courtship, but she will use the brother and sister code. They will continue. And at the end of the day, they will get in the marriage, and they will discover, like the Yoruba people will call them the horse in the book, Abi.
Yes.
It's practically a horse in the book. And that is actually a ground for divorce.
Is that false pretense? Is that what do you call that?
That marriage is, how will I put it? Of course, it's how will I put it? Deceitful. Yes, deceit.
So that takes a longer period of time before they annul.
That's why I said that. No, it's just the same process, but like this case now. Of course, the court will not really have much to consider. What do they want to actually settle out of court? Really?
Okay, Mama, like you said, consideration. When children are involved, are there things to start considering
definitely.
that will linger?
When there are children, that even makes the process much more tedious, complex, and longer. Because that is why I said the court will not just jump at, okay, you don't want to stay together? Bye-bye. No. Because the children must be taken into consideration. Now, especially when the children are under 18 years, of course, if they are above 18, they are not even an issue. That's not an issue. But where the children are under 18, of course, the court will consider many things. Who has the economic power to take care of them? And then who has actually been there for them? There are cases where probably the mother has the economic power, but has never been there for the children. And it's been the father. Now she might actually have the economic power to take the children, but if she takes them, how will she care for them? You get? I think that's why we have issues of paying support. But in Nigeria, they never pay support. They never pay. Yes, they never do, because there's nobody that enforces the support. Yes, nobody enforces support. You just be going to police station. Child support.
On this issue of when children are involved, I like us to look at. You have given us one angle. Someone has the funds, but has not always been there for them, and the other. What if both the father and the mother, they are equally capable of taking care of them.
Of course,
The
you
children
know-
are used to the
you
two
know
of them.
you know that oftentimes the court will be more let me no, I don't want not magnanimous. The court is more attuned to giving minor children to their mother. That's just it. Because the court actually believes that the mother will do better in taking care of the children. The only thing is, okay, the father can be granted access or will be granted access to the children. Not okay, don't you can't lock out the father, since it's not as if he's a threat to the children. If the problem is just between the two of them, of course, the court will be more. The court is more will lean more towards giving the minor children to the mother, and then okay, the father will be given access to the children. Now they have to discuss issues of child visits, when and how. Is it every weekend you want to take the children? Okay, when they are on holidays, they will come spend the holidays with you and all. And parents also, these are part of the issues that
Yes.
they have to settle. The court will ask them to actually do the settlements and bring them to court so that the court can add it to its judgment. So if the parents agree that, okay, every weekend, the children will stay with their mom, during the weekends, they will spend with their father, that's how they will do it. So the parties and the court will actually come to an agreement on how
Do you
to.
know that I'm already tired of the process? I'm tired already.
Honestly, I'm
Tiring.
it's
No,
tiring.
no, we are not done. No, we are not done.
No,
What
they are
if
tired of
after
the process.
Yeah, the
Let
process.
me
That's what
not
I'm
ask the
saying.
question that is in my
See,
mind.
You know, it feels like we're already. It's like we're going through the process.
Yes, exactly.
I'm putting myself in the journey. Like
I'm seeing myself in the
because
court,
I'm
and
seeing
I'm seeing like
I'm seeing that it's possible to have more issues even after divorce.
It's exhausting. Is
Is it possible to have more
emotionally.
issues even after, because this child custody of a thing? What
Of
if
course.
one party is not abiding or the other party is trying
Of
to
course.
have it all?
No, no,
and
you,
then-
you, you are
Of
talking
course.
about abiding
There are some parents that want to use children as tools against. They want to use the children as tools, so they are vindictive because the court has granted this person custody, and the other person access or visit rights. The person with the custody does not want the person with the visit rights to come in. And so when the person comes, he will just lock the person out or do other things. There are issues like that. So it never ends. It never ends.
Exactly. See, once upon a time,
Except the parents are very mature people. There are people that actually co-parent maturely.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is it. Just no stress, no hassles. Is it to visit? Someone that has visiting rights will take the children to his side and then lock the children and want to take custody of the children. People do all sorts of devious things.
I think
with,
I've also seen.
with,
I've also seen a situation
not
whereby after all the courts, this is who has custody, this is how we should do it. One of the partners eventually found out that the other person is not doing well with the kids, as against what was originally said in the court. So what will that person do?
If a
That
person
kind
has
of-
any concern, of course, he can always approach the court again.
So it
Oh,
has
that
to
is
be
it.
court.
Yeah.
Wahala, no,
Everything
they finish.
has to be court.
Because
Before
because
they started with
because the
courtship, now they are
children
ending in the court. What kind of a life
because
is that?
the children are minors. They are minors, and it is by the order of the court that a party got custody of the children. So you cannot say the person is not doing well and I'm going to withdraw the children. You would have gone, you shoot yourself in the leg that way. So the appropriate thing, while it might be a long process, it is always better approach the court again. The person you granted the custody is not doing well with the children, and present your evidences, and the court can always grant another party the custody.
Please, let me ask this question. Now, I mean, looking at Nigeria as a country, I mean, several people living under, what's the word, the poverty line, below the poverty line, and I mean, in multi-dimensional poverty. For such people, I mean, that can't afford court cases in this respect, so what do they do?
They opt for separation now. That is the issue. That's what comes up. They
I
opt for
once heard of
separation
something like
because
mediation centers.
separation. Okay, I understand you, but what will mediation do? You cannot take a petition divorce to a mediation center. They can't mediate on divorce proceedings. Divorce proceedings is strictly for the court. If someone took my land, I don't have money to go to court, you can go and say, okay, I'm going for mediation, I'm going for arbitration or whatever, Sean, you want to go for.
Shun, you want to go and shun.
But when it comes to divorce, except you are saying, okay, we are not going to court again. That's all. The petition goes straight to the court. So no other body has
The right.
has jurisdiction over it. That's what I would call it.
This is my thought, yeah. I feel that I stand to be corrected that the court or the law in this regard is positioned to discourage people from getting divorced
Of course.
Yes.
because the process is so tedious.
Of course, it's
Because I've
tedious.
seen
I think in our Western countries, I think the procedure is actually simpler. You know,
It's simpler.
you know, I've seen things
to get.
I've seen things in Nollywood movie that they will say, oh yeah, sign the divorce paper. Which kind of divorce paper? There's no divorce
And
paper
they
in
will tear
Nigeria.
it.
Oh.
And they will tear
And
the
they will
divorce
tear
paper.
No divorce paper in Nigeria. We'll drag ourselves to court.
Do you know
I
during
heard
COVID?
there's no-
During COVID, in France, for example, they even made the divorce process much easier.
Easier.
They just created the form. You can file for it online, you know, and everything because they realized that couples got tired of each other. They were locked together in the same place, you know, for some months, you know, for almost a year because of the lockdown. People got tired of each other, you know, and they just made it easy.
So if you're
online.
in this part of the world, in our own part of the world, it's not so easy than other part of the world. Or is it easy?
What I actually heard, I mean, the Western world, Dr. Miles Monroe speaking about it, it's easier to get divorce or get your divorce done than it is to get a driver's license. Yeah. So they said they care so much about their roads than they care about your marriages.
No, the thing is that everywhere you go, so if you're having, I once had a friend, you know, she was struggling with paying her mortgage. You know, everywhere she went to, they said, Madam, you know the solution. You know, just file for divorce. Once you file for divorce, you can say on that ground, you can save this or save that. You will get intervention from the government, you know, some social
The fact that
welfare and so on.
and possibly if the husband is well-to-do.
Yeah.
You know, they will
You
tell them,
cash out.
okay,
Cash
they are
out.
splitting this.
Yes.
Cash out.
We've had such cases. Yeah, I don't even know if they split. Okay, anyway,
Jeff
they
Bezos
also
said
divide
so I got,
property here,
was
but
it
you know
$40
that
billion?
definitely.
Everybody, those people keep getting billions. you know,
$40
when
billion.
they-
That's the highest money gotten from
Why,
a divorce.
there's a document you sign now. Most billionaires now, when they want to
Prenuptial agreement.
so that
Prenup.
when you want to go back to your father's house, you want to do anything. I don't owe you anything.
No, it's not anything. Just that we have
You have
agreed on what
agreed
you are
on what
taking.
you are
It's
taking.
not like you be putting calculator on my wealth, you know.
Of course.
So
Okay,
you
so-
know, you get this together and you walk away.
I feel
you know.
that's better too.
No,
Like,
it's
No,
not
it's
better.
not better. No, the thing is,
Oh,
we
God.
need to, like Emperor said
The
on
issue-
the previous
the issue is that-
the previous episode,
Okay.
that people should watch. Know what to do for those watching right now that haven't gotten married. Then there is so much hope that you end up having a happy home. That's the reason for this podcast. So people should do the right thing. Know what to do now so that you don't end up in this situation.
Then I
what,
think
what about people that want to actually end up in that situation? Because I feel that some people are entering into this marriage, especially people who have targets on rich and well-to-do, maybe men.
Some people just want to get
They
babies
want to
and
get
leave,
that
you
baby and leave and
know.
get
You know,
that
it's
money.
not.
So this divorce thing, you see, just like she said, it's not a one-way thing. Some people actually want it. You can't just put
Now,
Mama, how do I
that's
come in?
insanity. That's
So
that's-
I feel it's celebrated a lot now.
Now.
That's why people feel.
It's
if it's not
trendy,
working,
you know.
then I can actually walk away. So I mean, divorce is being said. It's not like
To make
it's
it
not
look
in the
good.
past. It's in the past. You will hear of a story of maybe your grandfather is telling you a story, and they'll be like, your mother,
Yeah.
this went to marry this person
Yes.
and came back to my house again. So much like that.
Yes.
It's not like this divorce is not in the olden days,
Mm-hmm.
but now I feel we are so much celebrated because of the internet.
They celebrate it. You see
It's
a
being
woman making
celebrated now so
a
much.
photo
People
before
throw
photo
party,
and
they
after
throw
photo.
photo shoots
Yes.
now.
They throw photo
party
shoot
to celebrate
and
divorce.
show you how
so
better
even
they
people
are.
coming up, they feel, oh, this thing is something that is good. It's something
When
good.
people drop picture,
yeah,
when they drop
if-
their
if-
husband's name, they
can
make a
celebrate
video
it and-
recording,
yeah.
they
And celebrate
popularize
it.
it on the social
On the
media,
social
to
media.
show this is
And
how
give
I
us
You
know
know
a
celebrate.
party.
you be like,
Has
wow,
gone nuts.
it has gone nuts.
See, I think before we get married, we should eat all the ice cream in this world. We should go to all the eateries, but we need to have frank conversations. Like you were the one, Uncle Talks, that said the moment people start smooshing and kissing and everything, they stop thinking. You know, they are not talking again. They are not talking again.
Their
It's that
body-
thing that they
their
want to
body
keep
will
doing.
talk. It's
Eh,
only their
oh God, the
that will
body
talk.
start
will
talking.
talk.
You know,
Mm.
people
Happy
need
girl.
to talk. You need to know, why is this person going into this marriage? Why does this person want to go into marriage with me? Well, if that person has a plan, if this person, chances are that some people will lie about it, but at least you will know that you tried. The other part is that once you are in the marriage, look at the kind of effort it takes to divorce. So we need to really, really invest in our marriage. If we don't invest sufficiently well in our marriage, you know, putting ego aside, some people are having some little issues. You know, before some things become a fire and it consumes everybody, you can quickly take care of it, you know, while it's just starting.
Then I think one aspect in which or one aspect we fail to look at in Nigeria is that counseling helps. People in marriage that genuinely love each other actually do have problems.
Yes.
They don't intend to divorce, but there is no resolution. Now, what I am saying is not call family members. One thing I will always say when you call family members is everybody will support their own. See, nobody wants to run his own under the bus. That is what happens in reality. Everybody, no, not my brother. No, not my son. Meanwhile, their son is actually the problem. So it's always better to see a professional counselor. That is it. Not call your pastor.
Not a pastor.
I am
Not
sorry.
a pastor.
Because
I am sorry because
that one
I've
is
seen
another problem.
I've seen pastors even create more problems
Yes, so it's
in the
another
church.
problem.
You know, a lady was telling me she was in counseling and the pastor was telling her that my wife kneels down every morning to greet me, and her fiance asked her, can you kneel down every morning? And I was like, this one is creating an unnecessary issue. That should not come up.
But amazingly, we'll be bringing this to a close in a bit. But amazingly, that is not even spiritual. The kneeling down, because I've heard things like that. The kneeling down thing is cultural.
It's cultural.
It's cultural.
It's cultural.
Totally.
And we are diverse
We are
people.
mixing it up.
Yeah, we are diverse people. Yes, I wish this conversation.
If you
can
want someone that
continue.
will kneel down, then actually look for the person that
Yes,
can
you
kneel down.
will
Simple.
find. There will
Not
be
that
so
because
many
my
of
pastor
them.
said my wife kneels down, then you.
I think
And you know that this person-
That's a
about the
problem
quality
brewing.
of something they want
They
in
want.
a man or a woman. Go for what you want in someone. Don't just go for something else. I watched a movie where the lady is a kind of churchy girl and the guy had to hire his female friends to help him to bring her out of church. And at the end of the day, the whole thing went to the wrong side.
Wait, don't advocate for that church again. I will not take that. Well, sorry, Uncle Talks. Uncle
have
Talks
to
a
bring
moment.
this
No,
session to
she
close.
just struck something that I always see. The fact that God, I believe in God. God is our God, all right? So, but, you know, the Bible tells us that, I'm going to go biblical right now. The Bible says that you say you know God. You love God, but you don't love your neighbor. How can you know God when God is love? I think that most of the time we pretend, we hide under the fact that we are doing something with God. We are having a relationship with God. When the first relationship, the definition of our relationship with God is actually the relationship we have with people. If you are not nice to people, if you are not good to people, you cannot say you love God. But now let's talk about your spouse. What is the evidence that you have, you submit to God? If God says submit to your spouse, your husband, and you cannot submit to your husband, if you respect your pastor more than your husband.
Oh, you want to shake some tables
If
right
you
now?
respect, please, all the wives, all the wives watching this program,
Please,
other.
Please.
I think the scripture also says to submit to each
Yes,
other.
the scripture
I would,
says-
I would
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
I would
yeah.
actually like to emphasize that.
No, the
yeah,
scripture
yeah,
says
but
submit
it's not-
to one another.
Thank you very
Submit
much.
to everyone. But now, what Emperor is emphasizing on is the fact that not because this is not a patriarchy system, it's a system that there is an order.
Yes.
Submission is a way to actually break a man down. The funniest thing is that lots of women who are becoming heady and all, they don't know their husband's mumu button.
Thank
Permit
you.
to say that. There are buttons you press.
Okay, let me tell you the woman's mumu button too.
No, let's finish
Love
talking
her
about the man's
absolutely.
mumu button.
Love her to pieces.
Let us finish talking
Love
about
her
the
to
man.
pieces.
Don't worry.
Love her to pieces.
We here. Wait.
See, if you tell her enter the pitch, you went.
Wait.
Wallahi.
Wait.
Check out my submission.
We no go gree, oh. We no
We
go
don't
gree.
agree.
We are not processing yet, sir.
Wait, we have to bring
But
this
no,
program to
we
close.
can't yet.
Sam.
We can't do that yet because he said something at the beginning that we need to look at the psychological effect of divorce and separation on marriage, and it's very pivotal. We can't amplify problems and not talk about the solutions. She hinted on counseling professionally, but we have not gone deep into it, and we cannot close this show
cannot.
without
When
me
the professional
talking
counselor-
about it.
We can-
Because that is my profession.
Let's
So Uncle
Let's do
Talks,
this way.
chill.
Let's do
I
this way.
sort her.
Yes, I'll chill. Let's do it this way. We will get more from your end, because you're a psychotherapist, trained and professional and everything. I will call it a day. Is that good? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
My
let's
lord,
have
may I approach the bench? You may.
Oh!
All right.
I love this.
I actually go to court so to present them evidences of therapists that okay this
Are you telling us you did?
individual I do.
You
This-
do?
Yeah, this individual has
Okay.
been in session and has the tendency to improve and get better. So we present it, and then I just say, my lord, may we approach the bench? We don't go with the lawyer, we present evidence, we go back, And for me, the first time I went and they said, I said, my lord, I was like, no, I know only one lord. But on a lighter note, now, we're encouraging our couples to go through post-marriage counseling. Because that is where
Is it before conflict
counseling,
starts? Before
post-marriage,
is it
after the wedding.
after the wedding? All right.
So that is where
We should say post-wedding.
post-marriage counseling.
Because if you say post-marriage, you are saying after the marriage.
Okay, post-wedding. Okay, post-wedding
exactly.
counseling.
Because if you are saying
you know,
after
we do
post-marriage.
pre-marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Pre-marriage.
Yeah.
Pre-wedding.
Pre-wedding.
Yes.
But they call it pre-marriage.
I don't
Okay,
understand.
so pre-wedding counseling
Yeah.
and then post-wedding counseling.
That's
Because
Difference between marriage and wedding.
Exactly.
okay, because that is where actually the need for counseling comes in. Because as you go into the journey, you see things that you do not like, you can talk about it, you can learn how to handle it, you improve by the day, you keep going. But then it took a while for pre-wedding counseling to gain grounds, and we have people coming into it. So ordinarily, marriage is a black market. Because you really don't know what you're going to get when you get into it. That's why Uncle Joe said earlier about the shocks. And it means that from day one, from the third month of being married, you sign into this class. And they would, and we will ask naturally, so how has it been the past 3 months? Issues coming up, anything you want to talk about? And you find couples saying a lot of things. Under these 3 months, you are saying things that look like 1 year already. And they,
Is it, sir? How affordable is it?
so one of the things we've learned to do is to is to make it affordable depending on the couple. So if Emperor is coming now,
Charge
his
him
own
as an
affordability
emperor.
is
No,
Emperor charges.
Emperor is not coming. Oh, Olori Ebi. I'm head of the family.
No. And the thing is, it's not when you have problems that you go in for
Wow.
post-wedding.
What about the
count-
conferences
count-
that are
counseling.
built for that purpose, like to strengthen
Now,
marriages?
conferences are on a broad scale, and they are not in the individualistic.
Customized.
So what we really need is for it to be individualistic, where you sit down with the professional therapist, talk about the things that you're struggling with, and then they would formulate recovery processes for you according to what you're going through, because it's not a general thing. And then you work on it, they do follow-ups, they check on how you have improved. But one thing I say at the beginning of every session is that the result you get through a therapy session is directly proportional to the effort you bring into it and how ready you are. So the first question is always that, are you sure you want to go through this? Like, why are you here? Most of the time they say I should come, and they referred me. So what do you want actually?
think for
You know,
someone like
and
that,
then from there-
I want to probe the life of the the counselor.
Now this is
I
it.
don't know. I
No,
would
no,
want to
no,
probe. I want
no.
to probe the life.
Let me then
About
Who
explain
are
to
you?
you. No,
Who are you?
let me then explain
Who
to
are
you.
you? Yeah.
There's a place of skill and experience.
Thank you very much.
So what the therapist is giving to you is the skill to help you. They might not have the experience.
Oh.
So for example, I've had
They
fact, they
answer
might
you
even
like
have
I've-
AI.
no.
They answer you like AI.
now I've had couples. I've had a 15-year-old couple in session with me, 20-year-old couple in session, and how old I am. I've had 25-year-old couples in sessions with me, and I just would, from my skill, ask them basic questions that they need to genuinely answer.
Were you married
As
at this
between
point? Were you married at
And
this
I wasn't
point?
married.
You
And then
weren't
after I got
married.
married, yes. So because I had this skill, I would ask them basic questions that most couples would probably not have answered in years that they've been married. Things they've just left there undone. You know, their differences, how they've managed it. We hear one, I was I just keep quiet too. You know, I'm the woman. Let me just be there. And then the man will go, I just manage, I just pulling through. And that's why you say they would need to get to a point where they have to answer the hard questions.
Okay.
You know?
We have to call it a day right now. Of course, this is still inexhaustive.
Yes.
I mean, we can
Very,
keep
very.
on going on and on.
Very, very.
But what I want to say to our viewers is make sure God is at the center of you getting married. Very important. Do due diligence, read in preparation, listen to messages in preparation, and go all out researching so that you don't become a victim of all that
Exactly.
we've shared. It's more expensive to get divorced than it is to get married. Sincerely, what I heard today, I'm already tired. And by the special grace of God, nobody here would ever fall into such shoes. Yes, that
Amen.
brings us to the end of this amazing program. I want to say a big thank you to these amazing family members. What can we do without you?
Uncle Tosin,
Wow.
what can I do without you?
I don't
Emperor,
know.
what can I do
Amen.
without you?
Happy
Carissa,
girl,
what can I
happy
do
girl,
without-
happy
Mama,
girl,
what
happy
can I do without you?
You can do
Wow.
You can
do your husband without me.
Yes, I can, definitely.
All right, it's so good to have you one more time in the house. And to you watching, want to say a big thank you for tuning in and keeping tab, with, all that we are doing. We encourage you to go further. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share, comment, click on our notification bell so you can be notified anytime we have newer content. And I would love to say this: happy people!
Happy family!
Yeah, God bless you!